Hey guys, my name is Blake.
My name's Zeter.
And this is Town Hogs Barbecue, and today we're going to teach you how to deep fry turkey. So let's get to it. Alright Zach, so tell us what it is you got going for us today.
Alright, so we're going to deep fry this turkey. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make it look real pretty. I really don't know if this butcher twine is going to burn in the deep fryer, but you know, we're going to give it a shot anyway. So we're going to start by tying the legs up to our post here just to keep the legs upright and not falling apart. And you just want to wrap this thing around here as many times as you can just to try to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and inject this guy. Get you a nice good injector. Sometimes, depending on what you buy, if you just buy like a Tony's injection from Walmart or Kroger, they'll come with one. But we got a fancy stainless steel one that's probably going to break later. So, we made our own injection here. We used primarily butter. Then we got an AP and we got a Cajun rub over here that we mixed in here. Today we're going with all queued up Steak Shake and Bill Mann's Pit of Heaven, his brand new Cajun PitGrit. So you just want to melt that butter down, mix those in. Honestly, we could try to tell you what we put in there, but it's going to be up to you. You put as much in there as you want based off the taste that you like. So you want to make sure you get plenty of injection up into the breast up here. Depending on what you're doing with the turkey, you go straight through the skin or you go under the skin. We're just going to go straight through the skin today. And you just want to get in there nice and deep. And you want to just inject it until you still start to see that breast swell.
The good thing about using butter as your injection with just a little bit of seasoning, you're not going to overdo it. So just pump this thing full until it just won't hold anymore, because that fat's going to help moisten that breast a little bit rather than it just, you know, that turkey breast is so lean, it'll add a little bit of that fat to it.
We're basically giving this turkey a boob job right now. See, watch that. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Alright, so that's usually a good indication that there's a good bit of injection in there.
Are you like trying to drown it in Steak Shake? You got to leave some room for the Cajun PitGrit on there.
It's a big bird.
Alright, so what Zach's doing is he's seasoning the turkey now. So the first thing he did was he took the avocado oil or some kind of olive oil, some butter, whatever it may be, and he sprayed the skin. Usually we don't do this with regular meat when it's meat to seasoning contact, but there's a skin layer in here that you could take off if you wanted to, but I really personally like the skin. So he sprayed the avocado oil on as a binder, put a layer of Steak Shake on there as an all-purpose, just salt, pepper, garlic, onion, a couple other things, and then he's going to put a really good coat of the Cajun PitGrit on here, because what you got to remember is a lot of this is going to cook off in the oil. A lot of this is not going to penetrate. It's not going to be on actual meat. There's a couple bare spots, and so you're really going to get that salty Cajun bite when you get a bite of that skin. One of the big things about deep frying a turkey is knowing how to do it well and safe. And so there's a couple tips I'm going to give you to make sure that you're doing that right. First off, get you something to put under your fryer, whether it's plastic sheet, rubber, something to just kind of keep the oil contained so that you don't get it on your concrete, let it soak in, whatever it may be. And then also, whenever you go to put your turkey in the oil, that turkey should be dry. There should be no ice left in it. There should be no water. It should be fully defrosted. You need to go very slowly, and you need to cut the flame off before you do. So we're going to raise the temperature up a little bit higher than we want it, cut the flame off, drop the turkey back in, and once it's kind of settled in, then we'll relight the flame. If you leave that flame open, you're just asking for a big flame up if you have an overflow. The other thing you need to think about is making sure that you put the appropriate amount of oil in there. So here's the steps for doing that. Take your turkey before you season it or anything, drop it in the pot, nothing in there. Fill it up with water to the appropriate level, so basically right below where kind of the bones of the legs are. And then you're going to pull that turkey out. Once that water is the only thing left in there, take you a Sharpie, put a mark on the side of the cooker, dump the water out, and then pour oil in up to that mark, and that should give you the appropriate amount of oil for deep frying your turkey. So you just got to be careful. The biggest things are making sure it's dry, making sure you cut your flame off, and making sure you don't have this pot full of oil when you try to drop a 12-pound turkey in it. So this is running in the 380s right now, so we're going to try to keep it about 350, but as soon as we drop this cold turkey in there, it's going to cool that oil off really fast. So we wanted to overshoot just a little bit. You remember I talked about safety earlier. Turkey's dry, there's no water, it's just butter. Butter's not going to affect anything. Zach's going to cut this thing off, and then we're going to get that turkey put in. Now you want to go slow because it's going to bubble. It's going to look like it's about to go over, but you just want to go slow and take your time. There's no rush. Alright, so you see how there's oil dripping out, and how even though we measured the appropriate amount of oil, we still are almost all the way at the top. That's what happens when that oil starts to bubble. That's why you got to be very careful. You saw it took me a good 30 to 45 seconds to drop that bird in there. The oil's starting to calm down a little bit, so we're good to go ahead and relight that flame and keep that temperature up. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and cover it. Covering it will help keep that heat in. And you should take 3 to 4 minutes per pound. So I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes on a 12-pound turkey. And I'm going to start checking it with my instant read then. Alright, so it's been about 40 minutes. We're going to go ahead and check it. It should be getting close. The oil never really got back up to 350. It stayed at about 300, so it's going to take a little bit longer. Sure does look good, let me tell you. The key here is you'll find some spots that'll say they're done, but you got to get in the deepest part of that breast and see what it says. I think she's done. Yep. We're running about 165, 170 in the white meat and about 185, 190 in the dark meat, which is perfect. Just let it drain for a second. So when you pull it out, make sure you get as much of the oil drained off as possible. Just double check it again. Yep, 166. And then what we're going to do, we're going to let it drain just sitting right there for a second. And then we'll move it over to the cutting table. You always lay a turkey upside down. Is that the good looking side to you? Yeah. Alright, so there's not much better or more pretty than a good deep fried turkey. You can see the color that rub put on there in conjunction with being in the peanut oil. Zach's going to go ahead and start butchering this thing up. The breast came out to about 165. The legs were about 190, 195, somewhere in there. And you can take dark meat.
What's a dark meat, Blake?
You can take dark meat a little further than you can white meat. So it should come out just right. So go ahead, let's see what this thing looks like. I don't know how hard it is to sit here and cut this thing up and not take a bite so that we can genuinely react to it when we taste it. It looks and smells so good. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I think we need to do some more talking, so
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Let's eat. Let's see. I'm going for... Okay, you just going to go right in?
Pasta.
That's freaking good.
It is so good.
Oh, man. Trying that new Cajun PitGrit in the butter. I wasn't 100% sure. I knew it tasted good, but, man.
I feel like I'm at a state fair right now.
Better than a state fair. That's an insult.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this breast is like so tender right here. Now, I'm not a white meat guy. I always eat the leg at Thanksgiving. So let's see. Let our camera guy get a taste.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. But hey guys, that's it for us today. Just remember, be extra careful when you're deep frying, because that's how people burn their houses down. You gotta save some for other people. Just be extra careful, but that butter injection and just a good coat of seasoning on the outside, it took us about 40 to 45 minutes to cook the bird itself, and it turned out awesome. So as always, we want to encourage you guys to turn those ideas into realities and get out there and cook something new. We'll catch you guys next time.